ladies and gentlemen. Let me start with a question. How do you begin your day? Is it with urgency, a mental to-do list, or maybe self-criticism over what didn't go right yesterday? Today, I want to offer you 5 simple yet transformative messages to tell yourself every morning. These are not mantras for perfection, they are reminders for living bravely, authentically, and fully. How many times have you looked in the mirror and thought, I need to be better? Better at your job, a better partner, a better parent, or just a better version of yourself overall. It's almost automatic for so many of us to see our reflection, whether in a mirror, a conversation, or a challenge, and immediately identify what's lacking. But what if we flip that script? What if, instead of focusing on what needs fixing, we started our day with a simple, powerful truth, I am enough, exactly as I am? This isn't a statement of complacency or an excuse to stop growing. It's an acknowledgement of our inherent worthiness. In a world that constantly tells us to do more, be more, and achieve more, the belief that we are enough can feel revolutionary. But it's not just revolutionary, it's necessary. We live in a culture that profits from our self-doubt. Advertisers tell us we need this product to look younger, that gadget to be more productive, or that service to feel more fulfilled. The underlying message is clear: you're not good enough as you are. Social media compounds this, bombarding us with curated snapshots of perfection that convince us everyone else is happier, more successful, and more deserving. Against this backdrop, declaring I am enough feels not just like an affirmation, but like an act of defiance. But believing we are enough doesn't come easily for most of us. It's not a switch you can flip, it's a practice. It starts with recognizing that your worth is not tied to your achievements or your flaws. It's not contingent on how you look, what you've done, or even what others think of you. Your worth is intrinsic, it exists simply because you do. Imagine carrying this belief into your relationships. When you embrace the idea that you are enough, you stop seeking validation from others. You stop bending over backward to prove your value or earn love. Instead, you can show up authentically, without the mask of perfection or the armor of defensiveness. This authenticity allows for deeper, more meaningful connections. When you believe you're enough, you also start to see that the people around you are enough too, flaws and all. Believing I am enough doesn't mean you'll never face self-doubt again. It doesn't mean you won't have moments where you feel inadequate. But it gives you a foundation to return to when those feelings arise. When you make a mistake, it reminds you that your worth isn't diminished. When you fall short of a goal, it helps you see that failure is a part of growth, not a measure of your value. For many of us, the hardest part of believing I am enough is letting go of the idea that being enough means being perfect. Perfectionism is a relentless trap. It tells us that we can't be loved or accepted until we've eliminated every flaw. But here's the truth: perfection doesn't exist, and the pursuit of it often leads to exhaustion, anxiety, and disconnection. In contrast, embracing your enoughness allows you to find peace and joy in the messy, beautiful reality of being human. Another barrier to believing I am enough is the fear that it might make us lazy or unmotivated. We think, if I already believe I'm enough, what's the point of trying harder or aiming higher? But here's the paradox: when you believe you're enough, you actually become more open to growth. Why? Because growth is no longer about proving your worth, it's about curiosity, learning, and becoming the best version of yourself. Not because you have to, but because you want to. Think about how this belief might change the way you approach challenges. If you believe you're enough, failure doesn't define you, it simply becomes a step in the journey. Criticism doesn't crush you because it doesn't threaten your sense of self. You're more willing to take risks, try new things, and stretch beyond your comfort zone because your foundation is solid. You're not reaching for success to feel worthy, you're reaching because you already know you are. It's also worth noting that embracing your enoughness isn't just about individual growth, it's about collective impact. When you show up believing you're enough, you inspire others to do the same. You give them permission to drop their own masks and show up authentically. Imagine a world where more of us believed we were enough, where workplaces valued people over productivity, where schools celebrated effort over perfection, and where relationships were built on mutual acceptance rather than constant striving. Of course, living this truth requires practice. It might look like starting your day with the affirmation, I am enough, and repeating it until it feels real. It might mean setting boundaries with people or situations that make you feel less than. It might mean catching yourself when you start comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel and reminding yourself that their journey doesn't diminish yours. And it's okay if this belief feels foreign or uncomfortable at first. Many of us have spent years, maybe even decades, believing the opposite. Changing that narrative takes time, but every time you choose to tell yourself, I am enough, you're planting a seed. And with practice, that seed grows into confidence, resilience, and peace. So what does it mean to tell yourself, I am enough, exactly as I am? It means recognizing that your flaws don't make you less worthy. It means honoring your humanity, your courage, and your efforts. It means stepping off the treadmill of constant striving and choosing to embrace yourself just as you are right now. Every morning, as we open our eyes to a new day, we are presented with countless choices. Some are small and routine, like what to eat for breakfast or which route to take to work. Others, however, carry more weight. They are the decisions that shape not only our day, but our lives. Among those choices, one of the most powerful yet challenging decisions we can make is this today: I choose courage over comfort. Choosing courage over comfort isn't about grand, heroic acts. It's about the quiet, everyday bravery that propels us toward growth. It's the choice to step into uncertainty, face discomfort, and lean into vulnerability. This choice isn't always easy, but it's where true transformation begins. Comfort feels safe and familiar, but it often keeps us stuck. Courage, on the other hand, propels us forward even when the path is unclear. Why is comfort so appealing? Because as humans, we are wired to seek safety and avoid pain. Comfort feels like a soft blanket, wrapping us in predictability and shielding us from risk. It tells us, stay here, don't try too hard, and you won't get hurt. And in a world filled with uncertainty, it's tempting to listen. But comfort, when chosen over and over, can become a prison. It keeps us in jobs we've outgrown, relationships that no longer serve us, and habits that stifle our potential. Courage, however, whispers a different truth. It says, yes, this might be hard, but you're capable. Yes, you might fail, but you'll learn. Yes, it's scary, but it's worth it. Courage invites us to step into the unknown, trusting that growth and possibility lie on the other side of discomfort. Choosing courage might look different for everyone, but it's often found in the small, everyday decisions that challenge us. It's speaking up in a meeting when you have an idea. Even if you're afraid, it will be dismissed. It's reaching out to someone you've lost touch with, even if you're unsure how they'll respond. It's setting a boundary in a relationship, even when it feels uncomfortable. It's asking for help when you're struggling, even though it feels vulnerable. These actions may seem simple, but they require us to step outside our comfort zones and face the possibility of rejection, failure, or judgment. One of the most significant aspects of choosing courage is its connection to vulnerability. Courage and vulnerability are two sides of the same coin. You cannot have one without the other. To be courageous means to take risks and show up fully, even when there are no guarantees. Vulnerability, far from being a weakness, is a strength. It's the willingness to be seen, to be imperfect, and to admit that you don't have all the answers. When you choose courage over comfort, you're also choosing to embrace vulnerability, knowing that it's the birthplace of creativity, connection, and growth. Another critical element of courage is its relationship with fear. Many people believe that courage means the absence of fear, but that's not true. Courage is not about eliminating fear, it's about acting in spite of it. Fear is a natural response to uncertainty, and risk it signals that you're stepping into something meaningful. The goal isn't to banish fear, but to acknowledge it, understand it, and move forward anyway. The beauty of choosing courage over comfort is that it creates a ripple effect. When you take a brave step, you not only grow as an individual, but also inspire others to do the same. Your courage becomes a beacon, showing those around you what's possible. Think about the people who have inspired you in your life. Chances are they're the ones who took risks, who dared to be authentic, and who chose courage over the easy path. By making this choice yourself, you become that kind of person for others. It's also important to remember that courage doesn't always lead to immediate success. Sometimes choosing courage means taking a leap and falling flat on your face. But even in failure, there is value. Every time you choose courage, you build resilience. You learn that you can handle setbacks, that failure isn't the end, and that your worth isn't tied to your achievements. Over time, these experiences create a sense of inner strength and confidence that no comfort zone could ever provide. Choosing courage over comfort also requires self-compassion. When you take risks, you will make mistakes. You'll have moments of doubt, fear, and even regret. But instead of beating yourself up, you can practice kindness toward yourself. Self-compassion reminds you that bravery isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up, trying, and giving yourself grace when things don't go as planned. This choice is particularly powerful in times of transition or uncertainty. When you're faced with a big decision, it can be tempting to retreat into comfort, waiting for the perfect moment or the right circumstances. But the truth is, those moments rarely come. Courage means taking the first step, even when the path ahead is unclear. It means trusting that you'll figure it out as you go, and that every step, no matter how small, moves you closer to where you want to be. Over time, the practice of choosing courage over comfort rewires the way you approach challenges. It becomes a mindset, a habit, and eventually a way of life. You start to see discomfort not as something to be feared, but as a sign of growth. You begin to embrace uncertainty, knowing that it's where the magic happens. And most importantly, you start to trust yourself, your ability to navigate the unknown, to rise after failure, and to create a life that reflects your values and dreams. So when you wake up each morning and tell yourself today, I choose courage over comfort, you're making a powerful declaration. You're saying yes to growth, yes to authenticity, and yes to the life you truly want to live. Every day is a collection of moments, a blank canvas waiting to be filled with choices, actions, and intentions. It's easy to overlook the significance of a single day when faced with the enormity of life. After all, how much impact can one day really have? But the truth is that what you do today matters. It matters in ways that are both small and profound, immediate and long-lasting, personal and far-reaching. When we think about what matters, we often look toward big, dramatic gestures, life-changing decisions, monumental achievements, or grand acts of kindness. While these moments are indeed important, they are rare. The reality is that most of life is made up of ordinary days filled with ordinary choices. And yet, it is in these seemingly ordinary days that the foundation of an extraordinary life is built. What you do today matters because each action you take sets a tone, creates momentum, and contributes to a larger narrative. Whether it's making a small effort to move closer to your goals, showing kindness to someone else, or simply being present in the moment, today's actions ripple outward in ways you may never fully see or understand. Let's take, for instance, the power of a single decision. Maybe today you decide to spend 10 minutes reading a book that inspires you, or you choose to go for a walk instead of scrolling through your phone. These decisions may seem trivial, but over time they add up. 10 minutes of reading every day can lead to finishing dozens of books in a year. A short walk each day can improve your physical health, clear your mind, and shift your mood. Small, consistent actions create the habits that shape your future. Even beyond personal goals, what you do today matters because it impacts others. A kind word to a colleague, a smile to a stranger, or a moment of genuine attention given to a loved one can change the course of someone else's day, or even their life. You may never know the full impact of your actions, but that doesn't diminish their importance. The world is full of unseen connections, and the positive energy you put out has a way of finding its way back. Consider this: the choices you make today also contribute to your sense of self. Every action you take reinforces the type of person you are becoming. Are you someone who keeps promises to yourself and others? Are you someone who strives to learn, grow, and show up authentically? The decisions you make today shape the narrative you tell yourself about who you are. Each small act of courage, discipline, or kindness strengthens your belief in your own potential and reinforces your values. What you do today also matters because it helps you find meaning and purpose in the present moment. It's easy to get caught up in waiting for the right time or a big breakthrough to feel like your life has significance. But purpose isn't something you find in the future, it's something you create by how you show up today. Even the most mundane tasks can hold meaning when approached with intention. Folding laundry, for example, might seem like a chore, but when you think of it as an act of care for yourself or your family, it takes on new significance. The choices you make today are also an investment in your future. It's tempting to think that tomorrow will always be there, ready for a fresh start. But tomorrow is built on the foundation of today. Every time you put off a decision, delay an effort, or ignore an opportunity, you're essentially handing a piece of your potential to the future. And while it's true that no one is perfect and everyone procrastinates, recognizing that today is your only guaranteed moment can help you shift your perspective. However, it's not just about productivity or achievements. What you do today matters because it reflects how you choose to live in alignment with your values. If you value connection, are you spending time nurturing your relationships? If you value creativity, are you allowing yourself the space to create? Living in alignment with your values today, even in small ways, creates a sense of fulfillment and integrity that extends into every aspect of your life. Another reason what you do today matters is because it demonstrates your ability to be present. In a world filled with distractions, being fully engaged in the moment is a radical act. It's easy to spend your time ruminating about the past or worrying about the future, but neither of those places is where life happens. Life happens here, now, in the decisions you make and the actions you take today. It's also worth noting that what you don't do today matters. Choosing not to act can be just as significant as choosing to act. Sometimes rest, reflection, and stillness are exactly what you need. Other times, avoidance or inaction can keep you from stepping into opportunities or addressing challenges. Being intentional about what you choose to do or not do can make all the difference in how you experience your day. Finally, what you do today matters because it reminds you of your agency. Even when circumstances are beyond your control, you always have the power to choose your response. You can choose kindness in the face of frustration, gratitude in the midst of uncertainty, or hope when things feel bleak. These choices, no matter how small, are acts of resilience that affirm your ability to influence your own life and the world around you. So often we look back on our lives and realize that the moments that mattered most were not the big milestones, but the small, seemingly insignificant actions that paved the way. Every day you have the opportunity to plant seeds of growth, connection, and purpose. And while you may not see the fruits of those seeds immediately, trust that they will grow. What you do today is not just about getting through the hours or crossing tasks off a list. It's about how you choose to live, love, and engage with the world. It's about recognizing that your actions, no matter how small, carry weight and significance. Failure is one of life's greatest teachers, yet it is often feared and misunderstood. From an early age, many of us are taught to avoid failure at all costs, associating it with shame, inadequacy, or defeat. The truth, however, is that failure is not the end of the road. It is a stepping stone on the path to growth, discovery, and success. Understanding this concept can transform the way we approach challenges, take risks, and live our lives. Failure is inevitable because it is an intrinsic part of learning and progress. No one achieves mastery in any field without stumbling along the way. When a baby takes its first steps, it doesn't walk perfectly on the first try. It wobbles, falls, and gets back up again. Each fall is not a sign to stop trying. It's a necessary part of learning how to walk. As adults, we sometimes forget that this same process applies to all aspects of growth. Whether you're learning a new skill, starting a business, or navigating a relationship, failure is an essential step in the process. One of the most powerful shifts in perspective we can make is to see failure not as a verdict on our worth, but as feedback. When you attempt something and it doesn't work out, the failure is simply data. It's information that tells you what didn't work and often why it didn't work. This feedback gives you the opportunity to adjust your approach, refine your skills, and try again with more insight. Thomas Edison's journey with the invention of the light bulb is a famous example of this. He reportedly failed thousands of times before finding the right design. When asked about these failures, he is said to have replied, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways it won't work." Edison understood that failure was not a stop sign, it was a stepping stone that brought him closer to his goal. Failure also teaches resilience, a trait that is essential for long-term success. Each time you face a setback and choose to persevere, you build inner strength and confidence. Resilience is not about avoiding failure, it's about rising after you fall. It's the ability to say, this didn't work out, but I'm still here and I'm willing to try again over time. This mindset creates a deep well of courage that allows you to take bigger risks and pursue greater goals. Another crucial aspect of failure is the opportunity it provides for self-discovery. When things don't go as planned, you are often forced to confront your assumptions, beliefs, and limitations. This process can reveal strengths you didn't know you had or areas where you need to grow. Failure pushes you out of your comfort zone and challenges you to think creatively, problem solve, and adapt. In doing so, it often leads to breakthroughs that would not have been possible otherwise. Moreover, failure fosters humility and empathy. When you experience setbacks, you gain a deeper understanding of what it feels like to struggle and fall short. This understanding allows you to relate to others in their moments of difficulty, creating a sense of connection and compassion. Failure reminds us that we are all human, and it teaches us to extend grace to ourselves and to others when things don't go as planned. It's also important to recognize that failure is not a reflection of your identity. Many people internalize failure, believing that because they failed at something, they are a failure. But your worth is not determined by your successes or your setbacks. Failure is an event, not a person. Separating your self-worth from your outcomes allows you to approach challenges with a sense of curiosity and experimentation, rather than fear of judgment or rejection. One of the most paralyzing aspects of failure is the fear of what others will think. This fear can prevent people from taking risks or trying new things altogether. But the truth is, most people are too focused on their own lives to dwell on your setbacks. And those who truly matter, your friends, family, and supporters, are more likely to admire your courage than to criticize your mistakes. When you let go of the need for external validation, you free yourself to take bold steps and embrace failure as part of the journey. Failure also plays a critical role in innovation and creativity. Some of the greatest discoveries and inventions have come from mistakes. For example, the invention of penicillin, one of the most significant medical breakthroughs in history, happened because Alexander Fleming failed to properly clean his lab. Instead of viewing the contamination as a failure, he investigated further, leading to the discovery of the antibiotic properties of penicillin. Stories like this remind us that failure is often the spark that ignites ingenuity. The fear of failure can also be a sign that you're pushing boundaries and striving for something meaningful. If you're not failing occasionally, it might mean you're staying too safe, sticking to what you already know, and avoiding opportunities for growth. Taking risks and embracing failure shows that you are committed to learning, evolving, and living fully. It's worth noting that not all failures are created equal. There are failures that come from effort, experimentation, and trying something new, and there are failures that result from a lack of preparation or accountability. The former are the stepping stones that lead to growth, while the latter offer important lessons about responsibility and improvement. Both types of failure are valuable, but they require different approaches to learn and move forward. Finally, failure creates the space for gratitude and appreciation. Success often feels more meaningful when it is achieved after a series of setbacks. The journey through failure adds depth to your accomplishments, reminding you of the effort, perseverance, and learning it took to get there. When you embrace failure as a stepping stone rather than a stop sign, you open yourself to a life of possibility, resilience, and growth. You begin to see failure not as something to be feared, but as something to be welcomed and necessary, and even valuable part of the journey. Failure is not the end of the story, it's the chapter that sets up the next, richer and more rewarding part of the narrative. Gratitude is more than just a feeling, it is a practice, a perspective, and a way of navigating the world. To say, gratitude will guide me today, is to make a conscious choice to approach life with openness, presence, and appreciation. It is a decision to see the beauty in the ordinary, to find lessons in challenges, and to let thankfulness shape your actions and interactions. When gratitude becomes your guide, your day transforms not because circumstances change, but because your perception does. Life is often a mix of joy and struggle, triumph and disappointment. Gratitude doesn't ignore the hard parts. Instead, it helps you focus on what is good, even in the midst of difficulty. It's a practice that encourages you to pause, reflect, and acknowledge the gifts you already have, no matter how small. Gratitude starts with awareness. Too often, we rush through our days, moving from one task to the next without pausing to notice the details around us. Gratitude invites us to slow down and pay attention. It reminds us to see the sunrise, feel the warmth of a morning cup of coffee, or appreciate the simple act of being able to move our bodies. These moments might seem insignificant, but when we acknowledge them, they become powerful reminders of the abundance in our lives. When gratitude guides you, it shifts your focus from what is lacking to what is present. It's easy to fall into the trap of comparison, especially in a world where social media highlights the best moments of others' lives. Gratitude interrupts this cycle by anchoring you in your own experience. It helps you see that while someone else's life may look different, yours is already full of unique blessings. Gratitude also enhances your relationships. When you approach others with a grateful heart, it changes the way you interact with them. You become more patient, more generous, and more empathetic. Instead of focusing on what others are not doing, you start to notice and appreciate their efforts, kindness, and presence. Expressing gratitude, whether through a simple thank you or a heartfelt note, deepens connections and fosters trust. In challenging times, gratitude becomes even more essential. It's natural to feel overwhelmed when life doesn't go as planned, but gratitude offers a way to reframe those experiences. It doesn't mean pretending everything is fine when it isn't. Instead, it's about finding something to hold on to, a lesson, a silver lining, or even the strength you're building by enduring the hardship. Gratitude reminds you that even in the darkest moments, there is light to be found. Gratitude also has a profound impact on your mental and emotional well-being. Research has shown that people who regularly practice gratitude experience greater happiness, lower levels of stress, and a stronger sense of purpose. When you let gratitude guide you, you cultivate a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. This doesn't mean ignoring problems or challenges. It means approaching them with a sense of hope and resilience, knowing that there is still good to be found. Another way gratitude guides you is by helping you stay present. It's easy to get caught up in worrying about the future or dwelling on the past, but gratitude anchors you in the here and now. When you focus on what you're thankful for in the moment, you become more mindful of your surroundings, your feelings, and your actions. This mindfulness allows you to savor experiences more deeply and make choices that align with your values. Gratitude also inspires action. When you recognize how much you have to be thankful for, it often sparks a desire to give back. You might feel motivated to share your time, resources, or talents with others. Gratitude reminds you that the blessings in your life are not just for you to enjoy, they're an opportunity to make a difference. Whether it's volunteering, helping a friend in need, or simply offering a kind word, gratitude fuels generosity and compassion. Letting gratitude guide you doesn't mean ignoring ambition or settling for less. Instead, it means striving for your goals from a place of contentment rather than lack. When you're guided by gratitude, you're not chasing success to fill a void or prove your worth. You're pursuing it because you recognize the gifts you already have and want to build upon them. This perspective creates a sense of fulfillment, regardless of the outcome. Gratitude also invites humility. It reminds you that much of what you have, your opportunities, relationships, and experiences, comes from sources outside yourself. Whether it's the support of loved ones, the sacrifices of those who came before you, or the simple fact of being alive, gratitude connects you to something larger than yourself. This humility fosters a sense of interconnectedness and reinforces the importance of giving and receiving grace. One of the most beautiful aspects of gratitude is its ability to multiply. The more you practice it, the more you find to be grateful for. Gratitude has a way of opening your eyes to the blessings that were always there, hidden in plain sight. It trains your mind to look for the good, even in the midst of challenges. Over time, this shift in perspective becomes second nature, creating a positive feedback loop that enhances every aspect of your life. Ultimately, gratitude is a guide that leads you back to what truly matters. It reminds you that happiness is not found in material possessions, external validation, or future achievements. It's found in the present moment, in the simple act of appreciating what you have and who you are right now. By letting gratitude guide you, you create a life that is rich, meaningful, and deeply fulfilling. In conclusion, the way we begin our morning sets the tone for everything that follows. By telling ourselves intentional and empowering truths each day, such as "I am enough," exactly as I am today, I choose courage over comfort. What I do today matters. Failure is a stepping stone, not a stop sign, and gratitude will guide me today. We build a foundation of resilience, purpose, and self-compassion. These affirmations remind us to embrace our imperfections, lean into challenges, act with intention, learn from setbacks, and appreciate the abundance already present in our lives. When we live each day guided by these principles, we not only transform our relationship with ourselves, but also our connection to the world around us. These words become more than just affirmations, they become actions, attitudes, and ways of being. As we carry these truths forward, they empower us to show up fully, navigate life with authenticity and grace, and create ripples of positivity that extend far beyond our mornings. Each day is a new opportunity, a blank slate to step into with courage, gratitude, and intention. The choice is always ours. Let's make it one that aligns with the best within us.